But I've seen, like when we get these Jubilee pins or King's Little medals to give out to our constituents, I always find it weird when MPs wear them themselves, because I always thought these were taxpayer dollars that were spent to buy these medals or these little pins that we then give to our constituents. Now, if an MP wears them, are they now misusing taxpayer dollars? It's a question. It's a very valid question. You should ask Mr. Williamson. So that's absurd. That is not absurd at all.
Okay, I don't want
Mr.
I don't
Chair,
want the
I would like an
crosstalk.
apology for
I don't
that
want the
comment.
crosstalk.
That's not right.
I would like an
Okay.
apology for that comment, Mr. Chair.
For what?
You called me
her
absurd.
absurd.
I don't.
Indeed, I did.
Okay.
I will apologize.
Okay. Well,
Those medals are part of the order of precedence, and anyone who receives one, just like anyone who receives a decoration from the Vice Regal or for their service in the Canadian Armed Forces, is absolutely entitled to wear them, and to say otherwise is preposterous. Okay. So no, it's not an abuse of taxpayer money for anyone who receives a decoration that's in the official order of precedence to wear it, any more than it is for the Vice Regal, the Governor General of Canada, to wear their medal. So it's an absurd comment.
So thank you for that, Mr. Barrett. I actually did read the order of precedence last week that as it relates to the King's Coronation Medal, and you're quite right on that. But go ahead, Ms. Khalid.
But sorry, I have a quick point of order.
Go ahead, Mr.
Feeling that someone's comment is absurd is a whole lot different than saying you are absurd. And I would ask Mr. Barrett if he would apologize for that comment.
No. He's already said he's not going to apologize. So go ahead, Ms. Khalid. You have the floor.
No.
Thank you, Chair. And I'm not very surprised. Rudeness is quite common in some places. I was making a point about the perception of how taxpayer dollars are used. I'm sorry that he got so offended. Oh, look, I can apologize, which is fine. But I will perhaps also talk about a Hungarian think tank that was run by a Conservative MP that used taxpayer dollars to spend tens of thousands of dollars on sponsored travel all across the world. And if we take a look to see who benefits from sponsored travel, and in fact, this is something that we had tried to study in this committee as well, is how should sponsored travel be used, and should MPs be entitled to take taxpayer dollars to go and spend across the world, or should those taxpayer dollars be staying here in Canada? If we're so worried about how taxpayer dollars are used, about how the Conflict of Interest Act applies, then we need to make sure that we have a well-rounded approach to how that happens. Not just to say that, oh, if you're a Liberal, therefore you must be violating something.
Point of order. We are sitting over here very quietly listening when they were speaking, and every time that ICRA says something that they don't agree with, they commiserate amongst themselves and make a noise. Could we just?
I do. I hear Mr. Barrett, please. So I hear talking on this side. I don't think it's disrupting the meeting. If it was disrupting the meeting, Mr. Fisher, then I would call it out. But it's quite common, and I've heard it from your side where conversations happen. So, Ms. Khalid, go ahead on the floor. If it becomes disruptive, I've called it out in the past, and I'll continue to call it out.